guilty or not guilty as a predetermination or predetermined kind of thing via your interference and so on. So when officials in our office give you a report and say there are instances of political interference, they are indicating something that they have come across in interacting with provinces. And as we say, we are engaging directly with some of the EAs, but covering everybody to say, yes, you have a role to play as an EA, but it's limited to this, so that we clarify everything, so that should any one of them be found to have gone beyond what is required, then they are held liable and they have to take responsibility for that. On women, yes, I was looking at DDGs that were passed by cabinet today or endorsed by cabinet. Two of them are males. 2 DGs are males whose term of office is being extended, and then the new DDGs that are being appointed, one is a male, one is a female. Now, there hasn't been enough sensitivity and intervention in the past. Hence, the risk domination of males as far as the current DGs and DDGs are concerned. But we are trying whatever we can do to encourage people to look harder, and of course with merit and every other requirement, but to ensure that they give women an opportunity where possible to take the lead on this and so on. So also looking at those women that are already serving as ministers and deputy ministers, to be given all the opportunity to play their role and display their skills on leadership. And I think all of us are making efforts in that regard. APRM has been disturbed a little bit by COVID-19, but we're resuming all our activities. Just in the past month, we've held, I think, something like 3 conferences hosted by APRM. One of them was on diaspora, which is the last one. The other one was on dealing with issues of ratings, sovereign ratings. But overall, the role of the APRM in the AU is to promote good governance in the continent and try to point to wrongdoing and put a stop to that, and encourage governments, all of them, to be transparent, to be responsible, to be accountable, and to deliver as required to their people throughout the continent. And now there are strides in this regard that are being done, and we're happy with some of them. But of course, there are problems like currently there is in Mali and so on. But putting those aside, those programs, in other words, we're beginning to resume normal activities in the APRM in the continent. But inside the country, we are preparing for the second review, and we'll be holding a meeting next week of the steering committee, so that they finalize the plan, so that by beginning of the year next year, we know exactly that we are going to be able to adhere to the program. South Africa is one of the countries that are due for second generation and is counted by the AU as falling within that category of countries that have agreed to be reassessed for the second generation review. So we are on track, because we now have a body that is responsible for those affairs in the country, the National General The National Governing Council is now in place. They are the ones that are driving or part of it as focal point and as member of the steering committee and the council itself. And so we are, although we feel we're a little bit behind, but we are on course generally to deal with this matter. May I stop there, Chair, and allow Deputy Minister and DG and CFO to continue with the rest of the questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minister.
Yes, I think the teacher will continue, Minister. I was offline for some time, so I could not get all the questions. Thank you.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
DG?
Thank you, Chairperson. I think Minister has addressed quite extensively a number of the questions. I had a little bit of connection issues when you were speaking, Chair, I think when you raised your question. So some of them I might have missed them. My connection has been a little bit unstable. But I'll try and answer some of those, Minister, have not answered. There was a comment around issues from slide 15 going forward. Why didn't we pick up? I think these are issues related to precautionary suspensions and disciplinary management. I think all I can say is that I may not be the best person to speak about the past on why issues were not picked up or what happened then, but I can say that HR is a decentralized responsibility in the public service. So the department also relies on reports that come from the provinces and national departments. It's only now that a minister has taken his role beyond just writing letters to actually having engagements with the premiers and with the executive authority, as per my briefing that I did earlier on. There was also a question about timelines. The timelines are very clear. For these cases, when you suspend people, you have 60 days to give charges, and you have 90 days to complete the hearing processes. But we know that people delay hearings for this or that reason, and sometimes it's issues that are beyond the control of the department. And you would know that part of the challenges with our regime that also contributes to delays is the fact that disciplinary management is also a bargaining council issue, and there is a lot of involvement of external players like labor. And I'm not saying this in a bad way, but I'm just saying it contributes to some of the delays in relation to those issues. Because when an employee says my representative is not available, you can't force an employee to go ahead with the hearing. When an employee says they are sick, you force them to say go ahead. But also there is naughtiness in government in the sense that sometimes we suspend people when we don't have a case to suspend people. And what we are doing also, we are investigating a possibility of a system in place that makes it possible for departments and provinces to alert us at DPSA before they suspend an official, so that we can issue references. We can have a reference for each suspension that is taking place in the public service without an intention to interfere, because we cannot interfere or not, but we can still do an assessment and advise based on the information we receive from them, and we can give a reference number so that we're able to track such a case in the system up until the end. We are investigating a possibility of that system. It's too early to speak about it at this stage, but there is a thought around that as part of effectively monitoring. There was also an issue around employees doing business with the state, 2014 legislation, and no progress. Processes in government can be very frustrating. Indeed, 2014, there was a legislation But that legislation, the Public Administration and Management Act, is useless without the regulations that empower implementation. Because how the act was structured, there must be concurrence by Minister of Finance and Minister of COGTA for any of the regulations that affect the public service, the public administration entirely. So that process of amendments, of regulations, sorry, we have done all the work at DPSA. We have submitted, I think, letters were sent requesting concurrence to the two ministers from our minister early this year, and we've been following up on that matter. And it's a matter we've escalated to the minister now. I heard the minister the other day saying if it means him visiting the relevant ministers in order to get this concurrence personally, he will have to do that. So in terms of that part, we've given a highlight in terms of officials doing business with the state. I do think that there's a lot of improvement in terms of the work that is being done currently. I mean, SAPS in particular, because we've been very unhappy in the past that we've been submitting cases and nothing is happening. But at least now we get reports and there's analysis of the reports. I mean, there's analysis of the information and the files that we have submitted, and there is progress. We are monitoring that progress. We are hoping that at the end, those employees doing business with the state are going to be held accountable. SAPS and NPA had also raised a number of challenges with us, including the fact that these are new crimes, and then from their own processes in terms of procedures that they follow and etc. Those are their own issues that they had to deal with as well, which might have contributed to delays. Lifestyle audits, as far as I understand, the Western Cape government contracted a private service provider to do what is referred as lifestyle audits for the executives, which is the political leadership in the province. I am not aware of lifestyle audits that have been done for public sector, for public service employees by the provincial government, but I will engage the DG of the province and understand how they've done that if they have, but they have not submitted such a report to the department, and we are quite in communication with the province and the DG of the province, and we share lots of information and experiences on a number of areas. But if it's something that we have missed, maybe there's an easier way of doing it. We will certainly learn from them. What I am aware is that they've gotten a private sector partner in respect to the lifestyle audits for the political leadership that they've done. There were questions that related to the graduate program, and the graduate program is still being implemented, but the numbers are declining. And the reasons we get from the departments are that there are budget cuts. So typically when budget cuts are implemented by National Treasury, the departments are going to look at what are the low-hanging fruits or areas where they can implement this budget, they can save. And we have seen a reduction in terms of the numbers because of that reason. But also now, from a quality and substantive perspective, the interns are, we keep them for a period of 24 months. It's no longer 12 months. So the numbers are unlikely to grow and be as big as they used to be in the past because they stay longer in the system. And it is an ongoing program. We monitor it and we ensure that there is implementation. Wage bill, minister has spoken to it. Section 100, I think at the right time, the responsible people will have to bring the reports in relation to that. I know that the Minister of COGTA is chairing the intervention in the province. And so when we bring such a report, it may also be useful to also invite the minister to give such an update on those matters. Gender, our commitment really to gender is beyond 50%, but people move in and out of organizations, and therefore sometimes it is really difficult to keep up to it to even 50%, but we are committed to 50% as a minimum, and we are doing our best to ensure that we go beyond 50%. But again, the recruitment process also gives us the candidates that it gives. Where necessary and where we are truly below the targets, we can also use the clause of indicating women as preferable for vacancies that we are filling at a particular time. So we're monitoring that one. There was a question about how much per employee is the allowance, and I just called the office because I wanted confirmation of the actual figures. And so there's a few things about this. The first one is that where the employees who are having a housing allowance, who have bought houses, and have applied for their allowance, have an allowance of 1,500 rands. Then there's a new agreement that was signed in 2015, and there were employees before the new agreement. Employees were also, even those who were not owning houses, were paid, were given money for rental. But there was an agreement reached with the unions in 2015, which removed that obligation to give the employees money for rental if they're not owning, because you want to encourage more of them to own. But that group of employees, which is what we're reporting on, that already had their allowances at 900 rands in respect to that, continue to receive those allowances. The difference between that 900 and the 1,500 rands is saved for them. And those who have not joined as owners since 2015, but who are renting, do not get any allowance. Instead, their allowance is saved. You would have seen in the slide that I indicated that the ILSF savings, which is a savings held by Treasury for the GHES, has an amount of 8.4 billion. These are the savings of the employees who qualify to have a housing allowance, but who have not applied, who have not bought a house. And those who are renting, but pre-2015, and who are being paid an amount of 900 rands as a contribution to their rent, and the remaining amount, which is sorry, my brain is not working now, but the remaining amount between 900 and 1.5, I think that's 600 rand, it's being kept in this specific saving. So when the employee says, I'm ready to buy a house, then they will have that saving that's available for them to access and to buy the house. In terms of COVID, employees with COVID, whether they've had access to your employees during the COVID period, whether suspended employees, during this period, whether suspended employees have had tapped into the COVID allowances. Chairperson, I truly don't know at this stage. We have written to the SIU because we would like to have access to the database of employees in the public service who are mentioned in all these different scandals in relation to PPE and other matters. And we've been engaging with the SIU in terms of accessing that information. Our intention is that when we are given permission to access that information, we will confirm with departments whether employees who are fingered in those reports, there is disciplinary cases that are taking place in the departments of those employees, and whether indeed there is criminal cases that have been opened against those employees. I know that SIU also opens criminal cases against the employees or against people that they're investigating as and when it's necessary. I think the minister answered the question on political interference. The issue on gender, I think I've also attended to it. On gender parity, the CDW program, the department is in a process of handing over this program to COGTA because that's where to DCOG, because that's where the program can be supported better. From our side as the department, we have indicated we can support at a policy level, but we will not be in a position to run the program in the manner that it is demanding, because it is a service delivery related program anyway, and it will be best affected by that are directly involved in service delivery. Chairperson, I don't know if I missed out any questions because of my connection. If so, I'm happy to be reminded and to try and attempt to respond to those.
Thank you, DG. I want to believe that you have, yourself and the minister, you have sufficiently covered the questions and clarity that were posed by honorable members. I want to just confer with the Deputy Minister whether is there any last parting note from the department.
I'm covered, Chairperson.
Thank you, Deputy Minister. Then let me, on behalf of the committee, express our gratitude to the leadership of the department under the Minister and the Deputy Minister for honoring our appointment to make a reflection in terms of progress that we are making around performance on those 6 programmatic areas that you presented to us. Indeed, keep up the good work. We are looking forward to the department the work on the lifestyle audit, dealing with the officials that are doing business with the state under our banner to fight corruption. This is good work. But other than that, you are on the right track, and let's formally allow you to exit the meeting while we continue with the other business of the House as a committee. Deputy Minister, your team is excused. Thank you a lot.
Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you,
Chair.
Thank you. Can we allow Honorable Landsman in? And the team. Honorable Landsman is parking on the door. If the ICT guys can let him in. Let's then formally agree that this item on the annual report is officially closed, and then move to the second matter, which speaks to our 2 bills in terms of those bills from transport. Like as we indicated, it is the bill, Airports Company Amendment Bill, and the Air Traffic and Navigation Service Company Amendment Bill. Let's just check whether do we have the necessary numbers, Committee Secretary.
Thank you, Chairperson. Let me check my roll call here. In terms of numbers, I have you, Honorable Chair, Honorable Dango,
Honorable Landsman, Honorable Team President, Honorable Mushodi, Honorable I don't see Honorable Markhan is here. Honorable Lond, I think we are ready. We can proceed.
Yes, yes.
Thank you, Chair. You are moving, Chair. The Secretary is a little bit slow today. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Honorable members, like as you will all recall, these 2 bills were presented to us as part of the briefing from the department, and last week on Wednesday, on the on the 10th, we were supposed to consider and adopt the report as a committee, but because of the by-election, we all agreed that let's defer the matter. So what we'll then do, we'll first start with the Airports Company Amendment Bill, maybe just as a way of a reflection. The bill is aimed to amend the Airports Company Act so as to insert and amend certain definition, to substitute certain expression, but also to provide for the appointment and the disqualification of members of the committees, to provide for the vacation of offices of members of the committee. And in terms of and also to insert the appeal committee establishment so that we are then able to deal with that. In terms of the bill, it has section 1 up to section section 6. So in a nutshell, it deals, like as we indicated, there are a number of areas. In terms of section 1, it just gives it's 12, it's up to 12. But I think what is critical is just to make a reflection that from the briefing that we received, there was no representation made from the public. Therefore, there is a consensus in terms of the bill. Is there any mover for the adoption of the bill from our members?
Landsman, I move, Chair.
Happy to support, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Landsman. Thank you, Honorable Lund. Can we then deal with the report pertaining to
Chairperson.
the...
Chairperson.
Yes, Lubega?
Chairperson.
Yes,
Chair?
I'm listening. Yes.
Can I move in terms of the procedure?
Yes.
Voting.
Honorable Muthu. Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. I support.
Dango support.
Thank you, Honorable Dango.
Support. Mama Rakhane support.
Thank you, Honorable Marakhani. Honorable Team supports.
I do, Chair. Thank you for your question.
Thank you. Matebula.
She's Chairperson. Chairperson.
Yes.
Honorable Matebula,
Yes.
she's out, but she's joining in now. She's joined it. You can ask her.
Honorable Matebula. But we already have the necessary numbers, including myself.
Yes. But Honorable Matebula, I don't know what is going on because she's just joined now, but I can see her. I don't know whether she hear or she don't able to hear us. Maybe she can just write on the chat that she support or not support.
Okay, good. But we can proceed. We can proceed. All right. Therefore, the bill is agreed to. Can we deal with the report pertaining to this bill?